Welcome to Pathetic, the podcast. Tonight, we have an interesting show on tap for you tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about your New York Knickerbockers, and our main New York Knick guy is here with us in Mikey C. And honestly, Jeff's right up there with him, but Mikey C is like, he is Mr. New York. He is Mr. Go New York, go New York, go. Mike, how are you tonight?
I am doing okay. Knicks in 6 is what we've said since the beginning. I'm sticking with it. I'm feeling good right now. The weather's turning. It's going to be 85 degrees this weekend. I'm going to be lying in my pool, watching baseball, watching the Preakness. We are ready to go for this summer to get kicked off here very shortly.
Subway
Jeff,
Series.
how we doing?
Yeah, man. Subway Series. Here we come. And this will be an interesting one. You know, we'll talk more about it throughout the show, but I love the Subway Series. I can't wait. We'll talk a little Knicks. And then we got the cruise coming up, Uncle Ted. So you guys are going to get a break from our voices for a week when we leave. But yeah, let's get right into it.
Hey, everybody watching, remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. You can listen to the audio only if you like to listen to us in your car on whatever platform you listen to your podcasts on. Same thing, like and subscribe. I want to remind everyone, if you want to kind of get in the contest to pick how many wins the Giants or Jets are going to have, just go to one email address, pathetic, PatheticPod.
PatheticThepodcast at gmail.com.
Is that what it is? Pathetic the podcast? All right. Pathetic the podcast at gmail.com. I will put the Link.Tree up in the corner. Well, yeah. I'll put the Link.Tree up in the corner.
Yeah, we're not click the link. Don't trust us.
We're not good with technology. Mike, I wanted to ask you, your pool is open already?
It is open. It is a little chilly. It's like 71 degrees in there, so it's a little chilly, but it is crystal clear, and the heater will get turned on this weekend. And I will certainly be lounging in there with I have a big projector, so that will be out this weekend, and I'll be watching basketball, baseball, pick a sport. I'm going to find some sports to watch, and European floorball, whatever's on, I'll put it on in the pool.
And that water, 71 is cold, as my dad would say. That'll turn your grapes to raisins. So
it is chilly, but I have the heater, so the heater will get turned on when we go in it. So I'm not heating the pool for no reason. I'm going to heat it when I get in there.
So we were doing our show about the NFL schedule release while the Knicks were playing, and we were catching bits and pieces of it. We kind of knew what was happening. Mike, what's your impression of what happened? I mean, I was shocked. I thought they could lose, but man, oh man, I was shocked. What do you think?
I mean, Boston had their backs against the wall, and they showed it. They shot 52% from the field. They hit more than half of their shots, which is going to be a problem if you're going to try to win a game if your opponent is shooting 54 points or 54%. Mm-hmm. You also weren't expecting Luke Cornett to come out there and go 5 for 5 from the field, block 7 shots, 9 rebounds, and have him come off the bench. I think he's going to start instead of Porzingis on Friday, because Porzingis has been not himself. I don't know if he's sick or what's going on with him, but Brunson they got into foul trouble early, and I think if you're Boston, that's going to be your game plan going forward, is to get the Knicks in foul trouble early, get Towns out of the game, get Brunson in foul trouble, and that's really how you're going to try to win these games. But the Knicks have not won a playoff series at home. I've not closed out a playoff series at home since 1999 when they were playing against the Spurs in the finals that year. So as upset I was and pissed off about how the game went on Wednesday night, I am all in on Friday, Madison Square Garden. They're going to bring the energy. They're going to be drinking at 2:00 in the afternoon for this game. They are going to be, as I say, all kinds of jacked up, ready to go, close this thing out at home, and move on to host the Indiana Pacers in the next round. So,
yeah, listen, it was just a lethargic game by the Knicks all around, and it was a low IQ game too. It wasn't just bad shooting or just not looking energized. I mean, just the dumb fouls, the dumb passes, the mistakes. But Mike, you brought it up, and you're right. You got to give Boston credit too. This isn't just going to be an onslaught on the Knicks and the way they played. I mean, Tatum goes down and guys step up, and that's what championship teams do. And that's why the Celtics, even though they're down in the series, that's why they're always going to be dangerous no matter what. And, Jaylen Brown with 26 points. Mike, you said it before, 54% from the field collectively. But if I'm the Knicks, I wouldn't worry because I think they're going to wrap it up in Game 6. This team has showed time and time again in the playoffs and the regular season that they're tough, they're resilient. Brunson's not going to have 2 below average games in a row. He's going to come out, I think, in Game 6, ready to rock and roll. But from the Celtics standpoint, this kid Pritchard is like a little nuisance. He's like he's like a little mouse in your house that you can't catch.
Yep.
Like, it reminds me of Danny Woodhead when he played in the NFL. Like, not the most talented guy in the world, but a pain in the ass, which sometimes is the most dangerous player. You look at the Knicks, but like Anunoby was terrible. He had 6 points, and they need him, right, to match the 3-point shootout with the Celtics because that's one of his big strengths, right? Last night he was, I think, 1 for 12 from the field, which is like a 7.8% or whatever. Dude, like if you shoot 1 for 12, when I played recreational basketball, I was getting benched for that. Right? Like if you're in the pro, you just, especially in the playoffs, you can't do that. I also thought, listen, with Brunson, who I'm a huge fan of, I thought him and Hart kind of hogged the ball a little bit, like played almost like a tag team. Like, okay, we got to take this over, which I actually respect because Brunson has been so clutch and so big time. He wanted to take over, so I respect that. But it's just the Knicks, when Brunson is not on his game, the Knicks are in trouble. They're not a great team unless Brunson is having a great game. Like even Cat, man. Like Cat is getting paid big money. He's supposed to be a big time player. And I just feel like as good as he is, the problem with Cat is he doesn't make his presence felt. I never feel like he's going to dominate a game unless Brunson or whoever's feeding him the ball and he's in the right spots. Like, how do you get 5 fouls in 1 quarter? How do you foul out of a game with 8 minutes or whatever it was to go?
Yeah.
Right. So the problem the Knicks have, and again, I think they're going to win Game 6, but they're the kind of team that Brunson has to play A+ basketball. And if he doesn't, the Knicks are in trouble. But Game 6 is going to be fun. I'm excited for it.
I have a bad feeling. I really have a bad feeling because I was talking to Jeff, Mike, before you came on. And the one thing, I mean, you can say, yeah, Boston's the champions, their backs to the wall, but they lost their best player. And they didn't hang their head. And yeah, this is why they're the champions. And I think what scares me more than anything for the Knicks is that what you said, they haven't closed out a series at home in 25 years. And now they're coming home to face a team that they're still like rabid dogs.
Yeah.
Now even more. They smell the blood. They smell like, all right, we just did this without Tatum. I'm nervous for them. I really am. I think Friday night's going to be a crazy game. I think it's going to be crazy.
Well, I said to you, Uncle Ted. I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the Celtics are 10-2 when Tatum doesn't play this year when he's out.
Yeah.
So they're sort of used to that at this point. So, but I think the difference maker is going to be someone on the Knicks bench. It's got to be either McBride or Campaign is due for one of his games in the playoffs that you're going to have, or Mitchell Robinson to kind of do what he did in that first half of that game and hit those 6 free throws. They tried to hack a Mitch, and it didn't work because he made all 6 of the free throws and gave you 13 rebounds in that first half where he was really part of the game. You're going to need somebody off that bench because the 5 guys can't do it by themselves.
Right.
You're going to have one of them or 2 of them be a little bit off. You're going to need somebody off that bench. And my choice is going to be Campaign because he's done this in the past with Philly. He's has a game where he goes off and hits 3 or 4 threes in a row. and really kind of energizes the crowd. So if it's me, I'm thinking it's Campaign is going to be the guy, but it could be McBride. But somebody off that bench has got to do something. You can't have Precious Achua only put up nothing, and Campaign not making a shot, and McBride kind of doing a little bit, but you need something off the bench. So I think that's going to be the key for them to get out, and to get out early, because they're trailing in every single one of these games by 10 or 15 points at a time. You have to, at some point, be close so that you can let Brunson do his thing at the end of the game, because all you got to do is keep it close, and Brunson's going to take over the game at the end. There's no one on Boston that's going to scare me clutch-wise as much as Brunson's going to scare you if you're a Celtics fan.
Yeah, and like I said before, they're so reliant on Brunson playing well. I feel like these other teams that are in the playoffs, if their star guy is not having a good game, there's so many other guys that pick up the slack, and the Knicks just don't have that. It's not that they play bad necessarily, but there's nobody, they don't have the Jaylen Brown, right, who when Tatum is either off or he's out of the game or he's out for the series. In this case, he steps up and he gets the job done and he turns into the Tatum. Nobody turns into the Brunson on the Knicks. You know what I mean? And thankfully for the Knicks, Brunson 9 times out of 10 plays great. But then that one time they get smoked. And it's funny you mentioned, Mike, they got to keep it close. I feel like they got to be down 20 in the first quarter like they always are, right? Like, it seems like the common denominator to the Knicks winning is when they're down big in the first half and then they kind of wake up a little bit, because the score was tied at half.
Yeah.
And like I'm watching the game as we're doing the show, I'm like, the Knicks are going to win. They kept it close. They're not down 15 or 20, and they end up losing by whatever it was, 20 points, right? So that's all hearsay. The reality is, you're right, Mike, they do have to play, like, they got to keep these games close, realistically. They do, because they can't let the Celtics get away. And last thing I'll add is it's a must-win. Game 6 is a must-win for the Knicks. If the Celtics win and bring this to a Game 7, I don't want to say definitely, because the Knicks are tough, but that's going to make that job winning even more difficult for the Knicks.
Yeah, I agree. That's what we said before we came on tonight, Jeff. I think if it goes to a Game 7, I think the Knicks are going to be in real trouble. But hey, you know what? Hopefully next week when we're doing the show, we'll be talking about the Knicks playing Indiana in the next round. Which, listen,
that'd be fun.
Knicks fans, if you beat Boston, you're not just going to steamroll Indiana. This is a good team.
Nope.
This is a really good team.
Nope.
So
you want to talk about guys who can shoot the three? I mean, Halliburton is lights out, and he could probably go clutch for clutch with Brunson at this point. So that's going to be exciting. It's going to bring me back to the Reggie Miller days. If that happens, I don't want to get ahead of myself, because I haven't gotten ahead of myself this whole series when it comes to that. My prediction at the beginning was Knicks in 6. And hopefully that comes true tomorrow, and we get a chance to really celebrate on our home court and all those degenerates outside Madison Square Garden. I keep saying it, but the crowds get bigger and bigger. And you know what I love about the crowd too is no one's destroying anything.
Right.
They're celebrating. They're having fun.
Yeah.
They're cursing like sailors, but they're not flipping over cars. They're not lighting stuff on fire. They're just celebrating and having a good time. That's the difference between New York and some of these other cities when they win, is everyone starts flipping cars and greasing telephone poles and everything else.
Yeah.
Gee, what city does what city does that, Mike? I'm wondering who's that city again? That's right, Philadelphia. Philadelphia people are listening to this. Like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to grease poles after you win? You're not supposed to tip cars and break police officer cars and fight in the streets
or whatever they're doing.
I never understood that. I don't
understand Philly. So
well, that too. You should be so happy.
Yeah.
Right.
Why would this? Oh, I'm happy. I need to flip a car. I never felt that.
No,
I never felt that.
No.
I don't know.
That's what makes New York different. We celebrate. We go out on the streets. We have a great time. Everybody's jumping around. And say what you want. I know, Ted, you're a Nets guy, but the Knicks are really the one team in the city that I'd say 85% of the people who watch basketball are Knicks fans
Oh,
around the city.
no-
So this is the
no
closest you
question.
get to some
No
of
question.
the other
Yeah.
cities where, with the Giants win, all the Jet fans are pissed off. The Yankees win, the Mets fans are pissed off. The hockey's all, splintered with Long Island and Jersey doing their things when the Rangers are there.
Yeah.
But the Knicks have always been the team that's kind of been, everyone is all in on them. So the chance for the city to really celebrate and to do something fun.
Yeah.
And I hope it happens on tomorrow night. So,
And tomorrow night's going to be pretty busy because you not only have Knicks Celtics from the Garden, but out at Yankee Stadium, I think the Yankees are playing. Who the heck are they playing again? Playing. The Mets. They're
That's
playing
right.
the Mets this weekend, and I gotta tell you, I'm looking forward to this because after I think we swept the Yankees last year, all the games, which really didn't mean anything, but we did it. And so now we play you this year, but this year it's really intriguing because Soto is now on the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
And
yep.
it's driving me crazy on the New York sports stations, the Yankee fans calling in, and they're all trying to figure out what kind of a reception are we going to give him? Oh, are we going to boo? Are we going to turn our backs and ignore him? It's a game. You want to boo him. But,
Yeah.
Come on, man. What's going
Well,
on?
first of all, the Subway Series is always fun.
Always.
And some people are kind of sick of it. They're like, "Oh, it's just a series. Who cares?" I disagree.
Love it.
Because whether people like it or not, the Yankees and Mets are a rivalry. Period.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
it. Especially now with the whole Soto situation.
Sure.
Both teams for the past couple of years, including this year, have been very good, playoff bound. And just to your point, Knucklehead, about the Juan Soto thing, if I can speak on behalf of every Yankee fan and tell them what to do,
You can. Do it now.
I should, right? Here's what you do when Soto comes up to the plate. Do nothing. It's over. Who cares? The Yankees aren't having a bad season. Paul Goldschmidt, who won the game, actually, no, he tied the game yesterday, and then Judge won the game, is having a great year, right? He's basically mimicking Soto, connecting with Judge. So to me, act like the big brother. I hate the big brother, little brother thing, but it seems that Yankee fans and Met fans love having that dumb argument. Act like the big brother then. Just, all right, they got Soto. Who cares? Let's move on. Right, but I will say this, just as a Yankee fan, I am praying Soto does not have his breakout game against the Yankees, because that would piss me off, right? Because he hasn't been Juan Soto this year, technically, right?
Right.
And this is his kind of breakout situation, right? Juan Soto was the best when the chips are on the table.
Yeah.
And with the Yankees and Mets, it's a nerve-wracking game, and that's when he plays great. I'll tell you what I don't want to see is the FU shirts of Soto.
No, I don't want to see that on either side.
I don't want the booze. Just move on. It's over. Just the Yankees are a good team without Soto. So
you're in first place. You have the best record, close to the best record in the major, in the AL.
Mm-hmm.
You, the guys you signed instead of Soto are producing unbelievably, and the team is in a really good spot. Say what you want about the bullpen, and we'll get to that probably next week when we're talking with our first check-in on the seasons, when it comes to how the teams are doing, what they need to do to fix themselves and all of that, because next weekend is the Memorial Day weekend, so that's really the first time you want to check in on these teams. But this is a fun weekend of baseball.
Yeah.
I love, Ted, just the two of us wearing these hats, just seeing those two hats on the field next to each other.
Yeah.
The bright blue for the Mets, the navy blue for the Yankees. It just feels like baseball, and it feels like New York City, because you just see those two fan bases. They're rabid. We are the baseball capital of the country. I don't care what St. Louis has to say, or Chicago, or LA, or whoever.
No.
The baseball capital of the United States is New York City.
No question.
And to have these games at Yankee Stadium with the Knicks playing as well as they are, it's going to be a fun weekend in New York. The weather's supposed to be nice. It's supposed to be like 85 degrees on Saturday. So it's going to be electric. at Yankee Stadium. Those games are so much fun to go to. I wish I had tickets still to go to these games, but I'm excited. I want to see these teams go head to head. I want to see the Yankees bullpen play against with real pressure situation and see how they hold up, because that's my main concern for the season so far for the Yankees is their bullpen.
Yeah. Well, what's funny too, very early when we started doing the show, and a couple of times we referenced our friend Mike and I's friend Smallwood. Okay. So I play golf with him very regularly, and he's completely out of his mind. He's completely out of his mind. Now, he's a Yankee fan, and in the group chat with me and Mike, he's constantly breaking.
I can read the text, Ted. I have them.
I have it right here, but he sends me stats on Soto and Trent Grisham, and he puts Trent is starting to separate himself. He said, it's eating you up, he says to me.
And he's having a great year, Trent Grisham.
He is. But listen, come on, what are you doing? I know he's doing it just to break my chops.
But that's like when Eli Manning would start out the year better than Tom Brady and be like, "Oh, Eli's better than Tom Brady." No, he's not. He's just having a better start to the year.
Well, Eli proved 2 times he beat Brady head to head.
See what I did there? You see what I did there? Yeah, there we go.
Well,
that trade looks better and better as it goes. The Grisham for Michael King and Higashioka and all those guys. I mean, Michael King has been great for the Padres, but to have Grisham there to help with this offense and be that kind of the second fiddle to Judge is a nice little piece there, especially when Stanton is off doing whatever he's doing to get his arms back to normal.
Stanton.
Well, what's going to be weird, like with Stanton, where the heck's this guy going to play? Because you're not going to take Ben Rice out of the lineup. Stanton can't play the field. I don't know where this guy's fitting in. I don't want like Stanton coming back to jeopardize Ben Rice keeping this momentum going. So that's going to be a weird one. But I will say this, if I can just give myself a little tiny pat on the back, nothing crazy. How about Carlos Rodon turning the season around and having a good year? I was the one lone soldier supporting this guy in Yankees Nation. Now every other Yankee fan is coming on board. Look, this guy pitches well, man. He has the disasters that make you flip out. And I flip out too when I see these 7-run games. But then he'll go 3. I think his ERA is like 3.1 or 3.2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And who's pitching for the Mets? Because we have Rodon, Schmidt, and Fried.
Let me see.
Which is great for us. I'm curious for the Mets.
I'll check it out right now. So it's going to be Tyler McGill.
Okay.
It's going to be Canning, and it's going to be Peterson.
So we might have some pitching.
Yeah.
I think Peterson on Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah.
That's. I'm really looking forward to it. It's
it's going to be fun.
It's going to be it's going to be so much fun. I really am psyched. It's going to be good. I mean,
and there's a respectful rivalry too. Like you don't hear about fights breaking out at the games, the Subway Series games.
You really don't.
There are a couple. I've seen a couple, and there's some guys in the bleachers who shouldn't be out there. That are out there trying to start a fight in the bleachers in one way or the other. But it happens. New York City. I mean, the worst is when you see the guy in the Red Sox jersey out there in the bleachers for Yankees Mets, and it's like, you're just asking for trouble at that point. So
I don't mind someone walking up to him and giving him a little punch in the face.
It's all of a sudden, he kind of deserves flick the hat off his head and see what happens. Let him make the first swing, so that way you're not getting the charges against you. You're just defending yourself.
It's like when I go to the Devils games and the Devils will be playing like Vancouver and some moron is there with a Rangers jersey on. Like you're just looking for a problem. Yeah. Well, you forget about it.
Oh, you do that, Mike? That's funny.
Well, I don't think you.
No,
you
generally not the Ranger jersey.
Rangers, but
okay, that would have surprised me.
Yeah,
actually.
no, Mike's not like that at all. Mike, definitely not. But these guys, and they walk around like they're strutting. What are you strutting for? You don't win anything. What are you strutting? Don't strut, please. Stop strutting. Oh God! But it's gonna be nerve wracking because even though we look forward to it and we can't wait and all those things, deep down, the three of us on tomorrow night and the second and third games, we're going to be sitting there like,
Yeah.
because we know that I know that if the Mets get swept, when I come back here next week, it's not going to be brutal, but there's going to be those little jabs, which I have to take. And I will
Yeah.
tell you this. I guarantee you this. If we sweep the Yankees, you will get jabs. It's going to
You'll be
happen.
jabbing.
I'm jabbing.
I'll be slipping them as much as I can, but
Yeah.
you're going to get me because listen, the Mets, I think they're probably a little better than the Yankees. I mean, record-wise, it's like the Bill Parcells saying, you are what your record says you are. The Mets are a very, very, very good team, and I think the Yankees are good.
I think the Yankees are very good.
I think they're a little better than good. I think the Mets
Yeah.
their pitching is just lights out. But
It's the lab.
you know,
it's the lab.
It's the lab. It's the pitching lab.
It's the pitching lab.
I'm not sure when Fried. I hope Fried's pitching Sunday night because if the series is 1-1, I want it to be Sunday night because Fried has been.
Let's
Mike,
see.
I mean, I know you watch every game.
He
man.
is pitching Sunday night.
Sunday
Fried
night.
Peterson
Beautiful.
Sunday night.
There we go. That's very good for the Yankees because I think the series might be 1-1. I really do. I could see them both winning a game.
I could see that.
And I mean, Fried, man, just he might as well get the Cy Young already. I mean, he is having a phenomenal. You know, he reminds me of a little bit.
Just touched the money, Mike.
I know, and he was not great in his last outing for you. So
but you know, who he reminds me of?
Oh,
just the demeanor. He reminds me of DeGrom a little bit. Very just stoic. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't make a facial expression, and that's why like guys like that are a perfect fit for New York. You know what I mean? So I'm glad he's pitching Sunday night because I think it will be 1-1 going in.
I'll tell you what I hold out hope for, that at the trade deadline, out of the blue, and if he's healthy, all of a sudden you hear the Mets reacquired DeGrom. That, to me, that would be – I would love that.
It'd be awesome, but he hates it here, doesn't he?
No, he didn't say he hated it.
Not the Mets, but
city.
New York. Like you think he'd come back?
I think he would come back.
Yeah.
I think he would, especially because he knows those fans. Do you see the way the Mets fans embrace Lindor?
Yeah.
I mean, that guy, and honestly, he's so comfortable right now in New York, and he's such a great leader. And I think the same thing would happen with DeGrom. If DeGrom came here, it would be like the prodigal son returning. You know, I think it would be
he would get the red carpet. That's for sure.
No question. But well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And Saturday, good thing the Met game's early Saturday, 1:00.
1:00.
Okay.
1:00 on Saturday.
Because late Saturday afternoon, early evening, we have the 150th running of the Preakness Stakes. Now, Mike, I'm going to tell you something before we start talking about the horses. Do you know why they call it the Preakness Stakes?
I do not.
Okay.
I just thought it was because it's at Pimlico or something with Pimlico, but
no,
I guess I'm wrong.
You're wrong. Well, very quickly, this was a horse that was bred in Jersey. Okay. Name of the horse was Preakness. It was a nasty horse. Now, horses sometimes could be nasty. This horse was brutal. They sent it to Maryland to race the circuit in Maryland. And whoever trained him and walked him and groomed him and everything, constantly getting bitten, kicked. It was just a nasty horse. The final straw was when he was 4 years old. The owner went to see him in his stall. And, they told him, you got to be careful. The horse is pretty nasty. He goes near the horse, and the horse kicks him right between the legs. Knocks the guy down. The guy's so angry. He goes and gets a gun, and he goes, "That's the last time you're going to be nasty." He shot the horse in the head and killed him. And the guy is like a rich, like a tycoon kind of guy. And he ran in all these, these rich circles of people. Well, he became ostracized. And people hated him for what he did, which I could understand that. And then they actually named the race after the horse. Like all of a sudden now this horse is like, Pope Clemens VIII, he's like really a great horse. But that's the story of the Preakness, Mike. Huh. Interesting, right?
Almost the Godfather kind of thing going on. As long as the head doesn't end up in the bed at the end of the thing.
Now, Mike, if you'll let me go, because the Godfather likes to hear the news in person and very quickly.
Correct.
So Mike, the Derby winner is out of this race.
Yep,
So,
we talked about that before.
little
How
disappointing.
Yep.
What do you think about this race?
So you're gonna get perfect conditions for this race. It's gonna be a little warm, but there should not be any slop whatsoever.
Right.
So if I'm looking at this, I'm loving Sandman in this race. I think Sandman is the pick. 4-1. You're gonna get a little cheddar goldfish coming at you with Sandman, and I'm gonna pair him with Heart of Honor as the exacta. 12-1. I think you're gonna get off to a quick start with some of these sprinters. I think Pay Billy's gonna get out there real quick, and they're gonna close, and Sandman's gonna take that down for the win. That's my pick, is Sandman.
I think if I was to make a, definitely Sandman. Okay, I love Sandman in this spot. He's a really good horse. Journalism is 8-5, and I think they've really over bet that horse. 8-5 is really low, but I like Journalism and Sandman being possibly 1-2, and I think Sandman on top of Journalism. But I think this is going to be a really good race. I really do. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Jeff, I know you're not a huge horse racing guy.
Well, I'll tell you this. Do you know how many horse races I've watched in my life? Take a guess.
3.
0.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God, I have never watched a horse race. I've seen like the
We're gonna
replays,
take it to Monmouth
like the Derby.
at some
so
point.
Maybe I would go. But here's the problem, Mike, and this is maybe why I don't watch it. I'm not a gambler, right? And I know you guys watch it for the enjoyment too, but it's a huge gambling thing, right? So maybe that's why I've just never gotten into it. I appreciate the sport. Like I appreciate people who go, right?
Yeah.
But I also think it's that kind of sport that you don't dabble into. You just watch. Like you either really watch it and you like it and you love it, or you just don't really care.
Well,
it's not that I hate it. I have no issue with it.
Would you like to go to the racetrack to see the horses?
Yeah, let's go to Monmouth.
I would go. Yeah. Like if I was in Jersey for I wouldn't travel to go, I don't think. But if I was in Jersey and there's a race, I would go. Sure. Make a social thing out of it.
Well, me and Mike will go, even if it's not a big race.
We're gonna go on a Tuesday night at Parks in Philly. We're gonna be the only 2 people there.
Well, I know people who own horses, and I mean they live and die by horse. They just love everything about it. So I don't knock it. I have no problem with it whatsoever. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And you know me, Uncle Ted, right? I'm not a dabbler. I'm either all in, like on a sport, or I'm not. Like it's true. I don't love every sport, but the ones I do, I know a lot about. Horse racing for me is just not one of them for some reason. I never got into it.
Mike, you know the thing about Jeff that I love, he when he gets into something, he's like totally into it, but then when he's out, he's like not even close to being back in. He's
100%. That's almost like me. It's sometimes 100% or 0. There's no in between.
He played drums in middle school.
Yeah, I did.
And he was good. We went to some of the orchestra things and all, and he was good. And I remember, Peachy and your mom talking, oh, Jeff is so good at drums. All of a sudden, he's out.
Gone.
He's gone. He's out.
I had a drum set in my room.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
I had a whole thing. Like I went all in. I was very young, so my dad bought the entire set. And then as soon as I quit, he's like, did I seriously just waste this money on this damn kid who just played drums for like 4 months?
He drums for like a minute.
I just dropped it like a bad habit, literally. But yeah, listen. So now the guy.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to ask you guys about Preakness. So the horse in is there a reason why this horse from the Derby isn't racing? Like the main one, what's his name again? The guy
Sovereignty.
What was the main reason? He's just because he's to recover.
Yeah, I think. I think Mike, right? The trainer just said our plan was not to run him 2 weeks after the Derby, whether he won or lost.
Yep. Yeah, I think this happened a couple of times in the last few years. Is that the trainers pulled the horse, planned to do it before the race even started.
Yeah,
but they weren't going to race even if he won. I talked about this before. How that's disappointing to me. If the horse is hurt, I get it. But you only get one shot at this. There's only been a handful of these Triple Crown horses. I understand you're going to make a ton of money in stud, but how much money are you going to make in stud for a Kentucky Derby winner? How much more are you going to make if you're a Triple Crown winner. I mean, American Pharaoh is raking in the cash and the female horses all over the place. He's probably can't even walk at this point with what American Pharaoh's doing.
The gamblers couldn't even get a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why they had a plan. And you know what? I give them a lot of credit, though. It's kind of like when you're drafting for the NFL and you have a plan.
Yeah.
And you don't let anything look. Because Mike Tyson, what's his famous quote? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Until they get punched
in the face.
He's right. He's 100% right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, coming up towards the end here, I want to go to Jeff doesn't have any UFC picks for this week. Because I think there's really nothing big going on in the UFC, right?
Small card, but I will do this. I was thinking about not bringing it up, but I gotta listen. I talk about my wins and losses.
Yeah.
You asked me, Uncle Ted, I'm like, shit, you want to talk about the loss? Because this was my worst week, but I gotta do it. I gotta be a man.
Yep.
So last week was not good. Alexa Grasso, who I was like completely certain she was gonna win, got whooped. I mean, she got beat pillar to post. Wasn't even close. And Bilal Muhammad, who was in my defense, a very heavy favorite.
Yeah.
Really was not got destroyed, but it was a pretty obvious loss. So we only won one last week. So as much as I hate to talk about this, I got to talk about both wins and losses. So bad week for the Jeff UFC picks.
And I know one of us sitting here had some shekels on those three, and
perhaps maybe it's me. Maybe it was me that did it this time.
Oh yeah, you know what?
I
don't want to say anything.
I wrote.
Now that you mention it,
I rode with Jeff, and I rode us right off the cliff. I steered that ship right into the gutter.
Well, to be fair, after I made my picks, I'm like, Mike, you gotta take these picks.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
You did it like in real time.
Literally, I was on the computer as you were making them. I was clicking on the things and making the bet as you were making the picks.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yep.
Mike, you had some picks last week, and I kind of know one of them, but what happened with your picks?
So I was not aware of this in Korean baseball. So if you have a double header in Korean baseball, they don't do the Manfred rule where they put a guy on second base. They just stop. You get a tie. You can get ties in Korean baseball if there's a double header because they want to. I don't know why, but they just don't.
That's crazy.
They just stop playing. So we had the LG. LG did beat Samsung, so shout out LG.
Nice.
Love the washer and dryers and TVs and everything else that LG puts out there.
Life's
no
good.
free ads, but love LG. But the NC Dinos and the Deuce and Bears tied at 6-6 because it was supposed to be a doubleheader. I guess there's rain in Japan, and the second game got rained out. But the first game, they just stopped playing, and they just called it at 6-6 as a tie. So 1-0-1, it's like, not great, but not – you didn't make money, but you didn't lose any money either. So you just kind of sat there and did your thing. So
do you lose that? So if you bet the money line, do you lose that, or is that –
No, it's a
void.
push.
It's a void, like a push.
It's a void. It voids it as if it was a tie game. If you bet the spread, you would lose. If you bet the favorite, and it ends in a tie, you lose. But if it's money line, you get unless it's soccer where you could bet the tie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would lose. But in baseball, I didn't realize you could have ties. So 1-0-1 last week for that.
And then Mike, you had probably your most severe mush in the history of Mikey's mushes. And I even texted you, and you refused to answer me when I texted you. Tell the people what you mushed, Mike.
So I was going to rally the Valley. Hershey Bears came in there and scored 5 goals in the first period of Game 4 and won that game 6-2, and then beat them also in Game 5. So the Lehigh Valley Phantoms are out. The Hershey Bears are moving on to play. I believe they're playing Charlotte in the next round in the Calder Cup playoffs. So go Checkers. I'm all in on them now because I can't stand the Hershey Bears. They are the Capitals AAA team, and they've won the last 2 cups in there. So I'm sick of them at this point. They had all these banners on the screen about how Hershey is mediocre chocolate and all this stuff about they were talking junk on the screen during the game I was at on Game 3, which was electric. But yeah, Phantom's not great.
Well, Mikey, it's just I know you don't do it purposely, but it's just it's really scary. You are
bad how it works.
It's terrible how it works.
The Checkers, that's Charlotte, or is that South Carolina? The Checkers,
Charlotte Checkers. Yeah,
I've heard of them.
Yeah,
I've heard of them.
You live in Charlotte.
I know, but like Charlotte is Alabama football, South Carolina football, Panthers a little bit, UNC basketball. That's
Atlanta Braves too.
Atlanta Braves, yeah.
I have a couple of buddies in Charlotte, and they are huge Braves fans because that was the only team that was relatively close to them forever. So
that's all that, yeah. But I've heard of the Checkers. That's interesting, even though that's like you don't really hear a lot about them. But I've heard their name before.
And I'll tell you this: what a difference. Getting off track for a second, I went to a Jets Carolina Panthers football game, and it was probably like 7-8 years ago. And before the game, before the national anthem, they asked everyone to rise and take off their hats, and they had a minister do the invocation. Where it's one of those like, Lord, these players here. And I was like, I'm shaking my head. And so the lady standing next to me says, you look confused. I said, I'm from New York. I said, if they ever did something like this, the ACLU would be out there and they'd be arresting people because you're forcing someone to actually listen to the word of the Lord. She goes like this, son, you in the Bible Belt.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No doubt.
And that's where we are.
Yep.
Now, Mike, go ahead, Jeff. What was you say?
I was going to say there's a church on. If you go to the Panther Stadium from my place, which is probably 10 minutes, you pass minimum 15 churches. Wow. It's definitely even Charlotte. It's a city, right? It's not like it's the South. It's definitely still considered to be in the Bible Belt for sure.
Are you 100%. Considered Charlotte, or is it called South Park?
No, so South Park is a part of Charlotte. It's like a neighborhood.
Okay.
So it's kind of like in New York City, like Soho. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like I'm not in the city. I'm like on the outskirts, maybe like a couple miles, but the area is called South Park.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Like the Williamsburg section of Brooklyn.
Right. Like exactly.
That. Oh, okay.
Exactly. Yep.
So, Mike, we're gonna go back to you, and we're gonna see what you can do. The owner and trainer of Sandman have already scratched him from the race, figuring he's probably going to break a leg or something like that. But
I hope not.
I hope not. What do you got for us this week?
So we got 2 exciting things that are happening this weekend that I am really pumped to talk about and to get on board with. Down in Arlington, Texas, at Jerry World, AT&T Stadium, we have the finals, the world finals of the Professional Bull Riders Unleash the Beast Championship that is happening this weekend at AT&T Stadium. They're probably going to have 85,000 people in there watching bull riding. I'll be watching it on TV in between the Yankees and the Preakness. We'll be watching rodeo going on here. I'm going to pick actually... Normally, you pick the real cowboy-looking guys who are from the South, who are dipping tobacco in between and don't wear the helmets and all of that. That's normally who you go with. I'm actually going with one of the all-time greats in the sport. He's actually from Brazil. His name is Jose Vitor Leme. Is his name? He is 7-1 to win the Unleash the Beast Championship. That's my pick. I think he is won a ton of these rodeo matches all the time. I remember watching him when I'm half asleep, and they're replaying this on CBS Sports Network while waiting for Boomer and Gio to come on. I just remember hearing this guy saying, "Oh, Jose Vitor Leme is going to win again." So I will take that. And then for my second pick, I'm actually going to go across the pond to Italy. The cycling right before Tour de France They
Great.
have an Italian version.
Jeff, I thought it was
of the
going to be,
Tour de
when he said
France.
Italy, I thought he was going to say the pasta eating championships.
I was waiting for it. I thought especially with Mike's pick, I could it's got like a spaghetti eating contest or something.
That's
something crazy.
You get me a line, I will make a pick on the spaghetti contest. But
I'm sorry, Mike.
So I am going to go to the Giro d'Italia. I'm going to take Adam Yates to win. Right now, he is 20-1 to win. I believe it's already started, so I think he's in like 4th or 5th place. But I think he's a mountain climber. I think they're going to get to the mountains at some point, and he's going to take over because he's minus 200 to finish in the top 10. So I think that he's going to make a run here and sprinkle him in at 20-1. Hopefully now he doesn't crash off the side of the mountain just because I picked him. But Adam Yates in the Giro d'Italia and Jose Vitor Leme in the PBR Unleash the Beast finals. Mikey's Mush's picks for a great weekend of sports. We are just about there to summer, guys. Memorial Day weekend's next week, and we are ready to go for this summer.
Guys, thanks so much for hopping on tonight. A very, very, very fun show. We definitely will have one more show after this before Jeff and I take a little bit of a break and hit the high seas down to Bermuda. Do our impersonation of a pirate. So that'll be good. Mike, Jeff, have a great rest of the evening. Enjoy the weekend with all those crazy sports that we've got going on. And I'll talk to you later on. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Good night.